First time. First time. First time.
Holy fucking shit! Smoking timelines lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
My bad on the double audio. That was my bad.
Smoking timelines all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
What's going on, chat? What is going on? What's going on? Sorry about that little double audio there. Let me make sure we're going good everywhere. Hello, YouTube. Seems to be working. Hello, Rumble. Looks all right.
Sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Hola, you Mexicans on Pilled. Hola. What's going on? And the always fun double audio culprit here. Which, X. Oh, it's always a battle. Test. We're there. We're there. We're there. Welcome. Today's episode, the Cider House. We're back. We're experimenting. We're blackout. Getting blacked out drunk. I'm just kidding. We've got quite a crew today. Oh, I'll cycle through you. Why not? We've got Jack, who I didn't mean to hit first, but welcome back. I keep forgetting I switched my cameras. Danny, welcome back. I'll drag you up a little higher in a second. And Mihaly, christening the couch. I had to keep the three other women on the couch off camera there. Cut them off there on the left side. But welcome, all of you, to the continuing experiment of the Cider House. Today we're going to be talking about Project 2025. What is it? Who made it? Why? I don't know, but I know somebody who does. Maybe. Allegedly. So he says. As I awkwardly bring down the volume on the music, it was this button. Jack Kentner, welcome back. Jack Kentner, welcome back. Let me turn your volume on.
Right,
that was John Ward's bad there. Oh, this is a lot of production going into this show. A lot of cameras, a lot of buttons. What is Project 2025?
Well, Project 2025 is the latest craze that the left is using to come at Donald Trump with. We had Russiagate, we had alleged COVID denial, which wasn't true, like insurrection, hysteria, yada yada yada, and now it's Project 2025. And what that is a list of policy proposals from the Heritage Foundation and a bunch of other conservative think tanks that Dems and a bunch of celebrities are saying is the worst thing ever. It's as if like Hitler and Mussolini rose from the dead, co-wrote it, and then gave it to Trump to enact in the United States.
So it's not something Trump came up with.
No, it wasn't.
In fact,
some of his former advisors or people associated with Trump came up with it, but Trump himself has vocally distanced himself away from Project 2025. He himself said that he's not interested in it, but nonetheless, people are saying that if he's elected president, then he is going to utilize this or use this and implement the policy proposals. But there is no proof of that whatsoever.
Just going through these.
Some of these are really good. I saw American Compass. That's a really good org. There's MRC.
So you're saying there's some organizations involved in this that you're not against.
No. Like pretty much every major mainstream conservative think tank has contributed to this in some way, some form or another. Yeah, you'll find some good policy proposals that I hope we'll go over eventually, but there are also some that may raise an eyebrow, not necessarily because they're bad, but because they may not appeal to moderates, or they may not be, they may not make it through the courts.
And the left is going absolutely nuts. That this is the end of the world. Is there is there something or some things, a few particular they're going nuts about? I'm trying to get to Paul. There we go.
Mark Hamill and Mark Ruffalo were flipping out. There's like a
Not Mark Hamill and Mark Ruffalo.
but
You know, Danny, when I'm trying to experiment. There we go. Look at that. I got the right button. When I am in an intellectual or emotional quandary, I often find myself asking, what would Mark Ruffalo or Mark Hamill
what would the Incredible Hulk have to
do in this situation? So the reaction to it is propaganda, we might say.
Yeah, there's like a graphic circulating that I've seen on a few accounts.
The joke one?
Well,
I
mean,
might have
it's
that
like
ready.
the Trump derangement syndrome graphic. It's not that one. Well, it might be under that one, but Mark Hamill tweeted I think it was like 25 points of what they have against Project 2025.
Yeah.
We can pull that up. Keep going, Jack.
He
I'm
compared
listening.
it to Sharia law, and whenever Mark Ruffalo comments on politics, I'm reminded of his interaction with the former Brazilian president Javier.
How do you spell this loser's name? Wait, was it Hamill or Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo, Ruffalo,
Like a buffalo.
Yeah, but I'm reminded of it.
But gayer.
I'm reminded of his interaction with Bolsonaro, in which he called him Mark Ruffles. Like he replied to him with a perfect dunk.
I would just search Mark Ruffalo Project 2025.
Yeah.
Fine. We'll do it that way.
I do kind of like his profile picture.
Prize, the Incredible Hulk. What else is that? What else? He's been in. I don't care. Never mind. Ignore my question. It's not a game, guys. It's white Christian nationalism. That, honestly, if someone asked me what is white Christian nationalism, I think I'd say sounds like a hell of a fun game. But that's just me. We're all crazy Christians. All right. It's like a bullet-pointed list I'm looking for.
No, that first graphic is the one that Mark Ruffalo went is show more.
Am I blind?
Project
Oh, right here?
Yeah. It was like, this is what he freaked out about. I think it was just really interesting that he was just, it was more so Mark Hamill that went viral for his graphic that got shared. But I think Mark Ruffalo's tweet right here just highlights the left's derangement on this issue.
For those of you just listening, Mark Ruffalo, Project 2025 is not a game. It's white Christian nationalism. Arguable whether or not that's a game. It is the Sharia law of the Christian, which he bunny ear quoted for us, Christian, crazy people who aren't Christian at all. Thank you, authority on who is and isn't Christian, Mark Ruffalo. That's not part of the quote. Who aren't Christian at all, but want to control every aspect of your life through their narrow and exclusionary interpretation of Christ's egalitarian, inclusive, and kindly teachings. That was hard to read. That was tough for me. Don't be fooled by Project 2025's extremist and perverse ideology. Trump is bringing it to all our lives. Sorry. Abortion, LGB, etc., rights, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of education, and equality between the races and genders is gone now. We're a bunch of racist, enslaved, single religion something that is very obviously not true. Forced birth and forced. All right.
This is where the Handmaid's Tale analogy comes in.
And surprisingly, you've never heard of that before, John.
I mean, I've heard of it.
He just hasn't watched it or read
okay.
it.
I didn't watch. Should we do a Handmaid's Tale watch party?
I wouldn't recommend it. Trash show, trash. Just trash.
Do these people even know what Sharia law is, though? Do you think they have an understanding that
They
Sharia law
understand.
is chopping the heads off of
I
gay
don't-
people? Like, I don't.
Some of them understand that's Islamophobic to talk about.
It's like, did you see Terrence Howard? You know the whole Terrence Howard's like he's
The smartest man alive.
the history
Yeah.
or the mysteries of the universe, and then they had him on with an actual physicist.
Weinstein.
Yes. And Eric Weinstein's like, hey, supersymmetry, that's like a very specific term of art for physics, and you can't just like use it for fucking whatever you want to say.
He outright said
That's what this feels like.
He outright said that he was so impressed by how stupid like his proposed theory is.
I stopped studying physics a long time ago.
Oh, definitely.
I can listen to Terrence Howard and just start fucking laughing. Like, come on.
Well, once you find out the Earth's flat, there's no point in learning anything.
Wait, the Earth's not flat? Wait, back up. Let's get. No, I'm kidding. All right, we derailed that there. We were looking for Mark Hamill now. Luke Skywalker, is that right?
Yeah, but the tweet that I shared with you, the Project 2025 one, it's responding right to him.
To this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so let's go there first. So Project 2025.
And it's a long one, but if you scroll down, you'll get to Mark Hamill's tweet.
You want me to speed read this?
Oh,
well,
no.
If you just keep scrolling down.
Yeah, just scroll down. We
shit.
can read that and then check out.
Holy,
check this one
you
out.
weren't kidding.
That's what Mark Hamill shared.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
And this was what went viral on like the left-wing side of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Hamill, unfortunately.
Luke Skywalker himself.
I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, so let's.
There we go. Let me
do
get
this.
that a tiny bit bigger.
Based. Very first one. Based.
Wait, this is. Yeah, what? I thought this was going to be bad things. Exceptions, ban contraception. This is Mark Hamill's interpretation, or this is accurate? You're saying? I'm sorry.
This is a meme that he's sharing around, and Project 2025, the official account representing them.
Oh, I see it. I'm reading now.
Clarifies.
Okay.
Yeah, clarifies their actual positions.
Oh, all right. Why can't I get more of that? I zoomed in too much. Why won't you let me scroll, man? There we go. No, it won't let me get all the way to the bottom. But it doesn't matter because it's all made up. So their response, going point by point, end no-fault divorce is false.
Yeah.
It's not mentioned. I mean, I would have been, that's a bummer.
I mean, I would have supported that. I think no-fault divorce can be directly linked to societal degeneration. In
Yeah,
America.
let's just talk about no-fault divorce for a second. How many times have you guys been
last
divorced?
week-
And how many times was it not your fault? No, go ahead.
Last week, whenever we mentioned about the toxic femininity of our culture instead of the toxic masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no-fault divorce is directly traceable to that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but then again, we're Christian nationalists if we say you got to stay married without biblical grounds for divorce.
I am very, intimately familiar with the shenanigans going on with the legal system. Next week we'll have the Autist 0.92 back. You guys would like to talk to him. He's a single dad. He's been battling this court system and all this crazy stuff. But yeah, you just kind of at any given point, your partner can be like, not feeling it anymore. I'm done with this. No skin in the game. Easy escape route.
And they can also take most of your belongings.
Take most of your belongings. When we say that's true if they're female and you're male, maybe. We're gonna get some ladies. Hold on. We're gonna get some ladies in here with us at some point. And we're gonna let them have their say, and then we're gonna tell them why they're wrong.
We're gonna be the whatever.
And then we're gonna tell them what we want for dinner and what time we want it, and then we'll continue talking about our opinions. But until that day comes, we're gonna pretend to respect whatever opinions they have we don't currently know at this moment, because we're not propagandists, we're just misogynists. I'm speaking only for myself. And no-fault divorce was false. Bummer. Complete ban on abortions without exceptions is obviously false.
I mean, Trump is the one who brags about returning the rights of abortion decisions back to the states. So I just find it funny that the left is just absolutely going bonkers over this when the overturning of Roe v. Wade gave California the right to have abortions up until birth and Texas the right to restrict all abortions.
Because it's up to the states now, right? Pretty much is the idea.
Yeah, but every state needs to conform to the same laws or the most far left view on abortion. Otherwise, it's patriarchy. We're living in full patriarchy.
Oh, okay, I'm with you. But I mean, we are. We are, though. I'll get to you in a minute here, chat. Let's just go through this list. Additional tax breaks in the 1% is misleading. It lowers taxes for everybody. Kind of same point there. Elimination of unions and worker protections is false. Retirement age. Is this just all everything you said, Mark Hamill, is not true?
Yeah.
Is that the summary?
Yeah. That's the, but point 11, elimination of the Department of Education. True.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. My contact's going crazy on me. It's making it hard to read. Mandate for leadership calls for an end to the Department of Education. Since the department was created, educational outcomes have not improved in the American school system, has increasingly fallen behind other countries. That's true as far as I know. Giving more control back to state and local governments and expanding school choice. Expanding school choice, I like it, would improve education outcomes for all Americans, especially underprivileged communities. Some functions of the department would be moved to other departments. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I believe it's an approach that Javier Milei, the
Argentina
president,
Yeah, that's one of the first
that's
things
the
he
approach he did. Just like end government bureaucracy, just like defund or like eliminate a bunch of these bloated, just parts of the government that weren't doing anything. Just emptying out like the tax money from taxpayers.
Afuera.
Oh, keep forget. Man, it's tough with all you guys here and all this stuff. All right. Yeah, incredible. Were there any other bombs like that in here that you know off the top of your head? Just to save me scrolling and reading?
There's around the total is 20, but we can just scroll down all.
Climate protections.
The increase Arctic drilling. Base. Melt the Arctic so we get
The
the
Arctic
minerals.
is of immense strategic importance to America. I'm quoting, mandate for leadership advocates a strong pursuit of American interests in the region through economic freedom, through ensuring free and open shipping lanes, and through the development of the vast energy resources of the Arctic.
Well,
Drill,
we
baby,
have to do
drill.
that because the most important reason is Russia is already currently doing that, and they have opened up vast amounts of shipping lanes that they didn't have previous access to.
I don't really get the big deal with drilling in the Arctic, frankly. Even if it did kill all the polar bears, which it won't, but even if it did, fuck polar bears. I don't really understand. No,
I mean, I'll probably never see one in my life, but apparently they are the most asshole of the bears.
it's the I believe it's the only land animal that hunts human beings naturally.
Yeah.
Maybe tigers also. I don't know. I just know they're stupid and white. It's a dumb animal, and if it died, I wouldn't care. Why aren't bears that live in jungles green? Someone riddle me that. Yeah, I just blew your... I'm trying not to swear. I blew your minds. All right. We will drill in the Arctic. I am for it.
Promote and expedite capital punishment.
Expedite it. How do
Now,
I apply for that
when
job?
I read that on the first list, I was expecting that to be one of the false ones, not the true one. So I would.
Well, let's get in. Let's
Yeah.
read the quote here. It's not very long. The appropriateness of capital punishment divides Americans and conservatives of goodwill. Mandate for leadership calls for the enforcement of the federal death penalty where appropriate and applicable, and recommends a future presidential administration pursue the death penalty for the most heinous crimes, including those involving violence and the sexual abuse of children, unless Congress says otherwise through legislation.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I'm gonna come out there and say it. I know it sounds great in theory. I'm all for, if we could just kill all the pedophiles and then that'd be done with it, that'd be good. But the problem is the justice system isn't good enough to guarantee 100% success rate on the whole death penalty thing.
Yeah, like I said, there are a couple policy proposals in here that may raise some eyebrows, and it will really bring some disagreements between conservatives and libertarians ahead.
I think it was it John Adams that said it's better that 100 guilty men go free than one
Innocent
man be imprisoned or whatever it was. Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about this one a little bit more. I kind of agree, honestly. At the same time, I mean, if the justice system can't be trusted to enforce its own rules, then is that unique to the death penalty? Wouldn't that be true of any law?
You just give it 20 years, then it just turns into teachers or parents going to teachers and whoever school board meetings.
So just because the outcome of a death penalty is irreversible, it's maybe a fire you don't want to play with.
Yeah, because it will never be the guy in New York City that committed a murder that gets the death penalty. It'll be some guy in Minnesota that accidentally hit a kid with his car.
That's true.
It concerns me to accept that. I mean, on the one hand, I believe that is how things work. I mean, I'm on the one hand, I'm completely in agreement with you. On the other hand, let me try to think of like a good metaphor. If your body is full of a bunch of bacteria cells that are
Let
killing...
me just say something, Zeb Boykin, as I crack this beer up. No, you're wrong.
Zeb's a good arguer.
Nobody
In fact,
ever
we'll
said-
probably do a show with Zeb. He's around. He's a little younger than me.
Nobody ever said freedom was safe.
If I had a bacterial infection, I'd want to kill all those bacteria, every single bacterium, every cell. I don't want to go around killing anybody, even necessarily murderers, or child molesters. Child molesters is kind of easy for me. I would kill them.
Yeah.
I agree, though, who gets to be the arbiter of who's guilty and who's not, and what the... But I think we can agree on things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
think it's also like, you look at it back in the day, it was pretty clear cut. Like, some guy in a town that everyone knows everyone killed someone, like, all right, we're just going to hang him.
Mm-hmm.
Case done. Nowadays, there's so much.
Oh, I think that
so many
happened
blurred
without a
lines
trial
between-
quite
yeah,
often.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Some of which didn't lead to good outcomes, like the Sam Witch trials. But
There's that, yeah.
yeah. But John, as to your question of who can decide, I kind of have a hot take for this.
Yeah,
Because who else to decide what happens to the criminal or the perpetrator than the victim or the victim's family? So I think the right thing to do in circumstances like this is to allow the victim to decide on what the punishment should be, which could potentially be allow them to die, go through the death penalty, or to have them work and they receive the benefits from their labor. Like any labor that they perform in prison, they receive.
What
for the rest of
happens
their
if you
life.
get a victim's family member, say they have one surviving family member, let's make it simple, and they say, I don't want to be involved in deciding that. You're putting a huge burden on me.
Then I guess it would be left up to the state at that point.
Or what if couldn't you, and you're saying only for death penalty situations? Not like someone robbed me and I get to decide what his punishment is? Because I can
That could
see
be
lots
debated.
of ways that can be scammed.
Yeah,
Like you'd have your friend rob you, and then you'd just not punish him.
right. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of scenarios to keep in mind, but I think reserved for those extreme circumstances, I think it would be okay.
I think there's two separate questions going on here, which is the death penalty moral?
Yeah.
And then could you actually have that system function? I think those are two separate questions.
Right.
I think it is moral. I really do. I'll own that. Sorry,
Well, I
everybody.
will also say, to play devil's advocate with myself, it was not too long ago where Joe Rogan had a guy on the podcast where they got off of death row, and then like
you're
2
talking about-
2 weeks later chopped a guy up. And put
Yeah,
him
you're
in
talking about the
jail.
ambassador for the Innocence Project. They,
Yeah.
they hyped this guy up for how the system failed him, when really, and the YouTube channel Actual Justice Warrior, who who dedicates his channel to crime-related topics, he's made a bunch of videos like explaining that the Innocence Project doesn't really find people innocent of the crimes they get off on.
Yeah,
What
that's
they
all-
really do is use DNA evidence to get them off on technicalities,
Yeah.
not really disprove that they didn't commit the crime.
Then I guess to play devil's advocate on the devil's advocate, if we can't even trust the nonprofits that are supposed to be doing the right thing to get the right people out, then how can we assure that the justice system and the nonprofits together would be not killing the wrong people?
I think this is the generalized version of this question to me is how do you make an entire country with accounting for how retarded and corrupt people are, and that's the country we currently live in.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be an easy question to answer if we had a country of 10 million people.
Well, I think that's the purpose of federalism.
Mm-hmm.
Let each
Yeah.
state decide how they're going to handle death row.
That's a great
The-
answer, and that's really what it should be.
Another thing we
States
haven't kind of
decide.
mentioned that I'll put in the corner of an argument for the death penalty is that it's a deterrent.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
it
if
is.
you know you're getting, that was kind of an argument that was made when I was 20 years ago or something. Is it's not deterring anybody. It is.
Well, look,
It's
like,
definitely deterring people.
like
Yeah.
Shanghai, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's Shanghai. It's like 10 years in prison for just shoplifting. And then you ask somebody from there, and they say, well, nobody will ever do it, not because of the penalty, because of the shame it would bring to their family. So it's part cultural. I
Well,
would say
10 years in
mostly
prison
cultural.
would bring a shit ton of shame, you know?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
But the idea of bringing shame to your family's name is not really
Right,
something
and I
we have in
agree,
America.
and that's a danger of just increased social or decreased socialization. When you have a bunch of people like not subscribing to the social contract, you just become alienating your own culture, and you don't care about the consequences of committing crimes.
I think that's the underlying thing with Mihaly's initial reasoning, which I agree with, which is you hesitate to rubber stamp the death penalty because you don't trust the contract. Like, there's people in the same society as you that you don't fucking trust to have that power. Is that kind of the root of the idea?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't either. That's not good. That's what.
Somebody
Yeah,
in
go
the
ahead.
chat made the point of the J6 prisoners, and I agree with them
Yeah.
on that. Like, I don't trust the federal government to carry out proper punishment for. I think it was Spearhand a little while back said, yeah, Jan 6 prisoners. I don't trust the federal government to properly enact a punishment, especially whenever the federal government has psyoped most of the population into thinking that these prisoners did something horrendously wrong when in fact they were entrapped by their own government.
But you trust them to have laws about all the lesser crimes?
that totally just like blows up our justice system.
That's what I mean. I think that we've accidentally stumbled upon with Mihaly's accurate logic the real underlying issue, which is like, I don't fucking trust any of you people. That's a big problem, like a big one, and that's the same problem that's going on with all the propaganda surrounding Project 2020, whatever fucking year it's supposed to be in. But I mean, all the propagandists putting out this. I'll get faster at this, I promise. At this Mark Hamill, Mark Ruffalo. Do you think Mark Hamill believes this?
Okay, so there was a tweet released from or that Charlie Kirk posted, and he said that someone who talks with a lot of Dem advisors were telling both Dem operatives and like Dem leaning celebrities to just post about this to influence the election because they knew that.
Oh, Swalwell.
Can I give you the short answer real
Swallows
quick?
will,
Yeah.
On whether or not Mark Hamill believes that, the answer is fuck no.
I
Mark,
agree.
Let me tell you this: Mark Hamill hasn't made any damn money since the '80s. They're probably paying him to do that. He spent all his Star Wars money.
Oh, that was man. I just emailed myself that Swalwell one. I was laughing at that too. Hold on, I got it right here.
Yeah.
Eric Swalwell, God, the farter. You guys are old enough to remember Eric Swalwell's fart?
I remember a lot of.
How could you
things
not?
I remember a lot of things about Swalwell
Was
that I wish I
Swalwell
did
the one that
remember.
was sleeping with a
Yeah,
Chinese?
Bang bang. He's bang bang with Fang Fang.
Oh, sorry, Mihai, I left you up there.
But he has
There
a
it
lot,
is.
He has
Messaging matters. Stop saying Project 2020. Say Trump's Project 2025,
He's
which
a
is an
smart
indirect way of saying, and definitely don't say Swalwell's Trump's Project 2025, because that's what he's really doing.
right. Man, this guy is.
Yeah,
just,
people are wising up to this crap.
He's still a U.S. representative.
Yeah, he's one of the dumbest U.S. representatives based on his controversies.
I'm just surprised that he hasn't been primaried yet.
Well,
Yeah,
East
well-
Bay, California.
Well,
that
Danny,
explains it
do you
all.
remember when he like threatened to bomb people? When he, like when dealing with this guy who said, "You want to take away our guns? Come and take them," which is the
Was
dumbest
he the
thing
one that
to
said
do.
like the U.S. federal government has like F-15?
Yes, that was him. That was him.
You better watch out for those attack helicopters.
Yeah.
You know who
And
didn't?
those-
You know who didn't have attack helicopters and
Vietnamese.
F-15s?
Vietnamese.
The Vietnamese.
ISIS, Taliban, Al
Those
Qaeda.
them too.
Everyone that beat us in the
Well,
past 10
yeah.
here's
years.
the other thing. I don't think Eric Swalwell has ever been to Appalachia.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, he's
Tanks.
California, right?
Let's just
Oh,
say.
yeah, East Bay, California.
Let's just say that tanks will have a really awkward time moving around Appalachia. Yeah. But another thing to keep in mind is that, sure, we can bomb other countries, but if we bomb our own country, then we won't have a country left. Like, you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, the whole point of it's the people, not the land, the culture that I think we're interested in protecting and preserving.
Right.
The
But
land's kind of arbitrary.
if you want to move on, where Eric Swalwell, or
Harambe.
Swallows Well, as I like to call
Yes.
him,
Whoa.
he got into he tried to stump Daily Wire Ben Shapiro from the Daily Wire over Project 2025, and it did not end well for him.
Is that this one?
Yeah, I believe so.
This is awesome.
All right, 5 minutes What time is it here? We got our 1 hour. That's all. We got
Yeah.
time.
And we can pause and laugh or make commentary.
We should be. Oh, I'm trying to click it in OBS instead of on the actual window.
Mr. Swalwell.
Thank you. Mr. Shapiro, thank you for joining us today. I think it is important that you're here as one of the leading
I haven't seen
conservative
this yet.
voices in the country. And the country has, in the last couple weeks, talked a lot about and Googled
Oh, he's aging.
Project 2025. It's one of the most Googled search terms right now.
Doesn't have that Asian
And
pussy.
you're not going to get any censorship from me. So I just wanted to know, from your perspective, I think it would help us understand.
He
on
didn't
just
say
like a
Trump's
scale of
2025,
0 to
though.
100%, how much do you support Project 2025?
I think, like President Trump, I haven't looked all that deeply at Project 2025, but it seems that Democrats on this committee, sort of like Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, if they say Project 2025 enough, their presidential candidate becomes alive again.
Oh, sorry.
Well, let's just talk about pieces of it, and I guess you can tell me if you support it. You probably want less bureaucracy, right?
I do.
I want less bureaucracy. You want more efficiency.
I do.
I want more efficiency. You want taxpayer money spent wisely.
I do. Congrats on becoming a Republican.
My parents would be proud. Mass deportations, it calls for that. Do you support that part?
I support the deportation of any illegal immigrant who is in the United States who is not of benefit to the generalized American public.
So if they're picking agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans, they've never committed a crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they are making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we
Simple
measure
answer
that?
is they broke the law.
The same way
entering
the
this
IRS
country.
measures my income every
skipped
year.
that
It
part.
seems like if the IRS can track down every aspect of every receipt that I've ever submitted, and
So
they
if
can
they were
do so for
willing to
hundreds
pay-
of millions of other Americans, they can do that for illegal immigrants
Right,
as
should I
well.
pause this for a
except
second?
the fact that no one knows how many are.
We're at the mercy of the emoji. Sorry, somebody had a thought. I don't know who it was. I just heard a voice.
Well, I just made the point. Like, where was Ben's mind in this? He should have just blatantly said, "You broke the law upon illegally entering this country."
Right.
There's
He's trying to give a pragmatic answer, but the thing is, you don't need to give a pragmatic answer. You can
I
just
feel like I have a unique take on this, and
You
it's
get-
going to catch you all by surprise. But keep going.
Yeah.
I'll wait till the end of the video.
when you look at polling, it's consistently people want stricter, they want immigration reform. They want stricter criteria for people coming to the country. They have a low tolerance for illegal immigration. You could just go off on what you think on illegal immigration, and people will agree with you. But for some reason, a lot of mainstream conservative pundits tiptoe around that, and there's no reason to.
Caught in the past a little bit, maybe? Like they think that's still
I mean, some of my
This is something I'm terrible about as a quote-unquote influencer. I actually say what I really think most of the time. But yeah, I think when you see hesitation to talk about it, I think you're right. They're scared about affecting
Right.
their own brand.
They're scared of being called racist, but the
Yeah.
thing is, a lot of the Hispanic demographic, which they are afraid of offending, are on our side, roughly speaking. They think it's bullshit how they have to wait in line and come in legally, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
have a bunch of losers just sneak in, and they could be criminals, they could be whoever else, and they steal jobs and potentially their jobs, and they didn't earn their place in this country at all.
It's kind of what Shapiro's saying, which isn't his idea. It's just common sense. Are they a net positive or a net negative? Are they following the rules? Or are they not following the rules? This isn't really a... Swalwell, I think, feels like he's doing a gotcha.
Right.
It's like the most anti-illegal immigration, most pro-deportation Republicans I know are my Hispanic friends whose families have migrated here legally, specifically
From
from Venezuela,
yeah,
for
or
example.
Cuba or somewhere with a history of communism, especially. Vietnamese are like that too. I
Yeah.
fucking hate it, and it's awesome. I like them a lot.
It's actually really cool how cool Vietnamese people are to us. You would think, you would think they would hate us.
It is impressive. It is.
Well, their whole history is just being invaded by different countries, so they kind of get it. Yeah, whatever. You're just another one of the people that invaded us.
Just another. It's a
Yeah.
Tuesday. We're getting invaded. It's Wednesday, Thursday. Shit, this is a shitty week.
Go back to the holes.
So I mean, are we good to keep going here? Or?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh wait, John, you said you
in
had
the
a
country,
hot take, right?
Oh, I was gonna wait till the end of it.
Okay.
I want to see if I can catch you
Excellent
guys. by-
demonstration.
I have a theory of what's going on here, specifically why Ben Shapiro and why Eric Swalwell.
Okay.
So you would be cool with creating a system where they could pay those taxes if they wanted to, and then stay and work and put food on our table?
It depends on how long it would take for them to pay the taxes, and they would also have to go presumably to the back of the line, although I'm not sure why I'm testifying about immigration policy at this point.
How about banning the abortion pill? That's part of Project 2025. Do you support that part?
I think that that's a state-by-state issue on a personal level.
I'm just asking you.
Sure, I'm a fully pro-life person, which means that I'm not in favor of the distribution of the abortion pill.
Banning same-sex marriage. What about that part?
I am in favor of traditional marriage between a man and a woman, and I'm perfectly fine with anyone having any sort of voluntary sexual arrangement they seek. That's a different thing from whether the government should attach benefits to that personal relationship.
But you think it's a sin to have same-sex marriage?
I mean, I'm confused. Are you asking me as a religious Jew what I think about biblically?
I'm just asking, is it a sin to be gay?
Is it a sin to be gay? I mean, how long do we have here? 2 minutes? I mean, if the basic idea is that sexual orientation is up for government regulation, I'm not in favor of the government regulating the private consenting sexual activity of adults. That is a different thing, once again, from whether the government ought to engage in actual benefits for particular sexual arrangements that adults make.
But again, just you to me, is it a sin or not?
From a religious Jewish perspective, orientation is not a sin,
I
but
just
activity
noticed
is.
the
That's also the same
sign
perspective
behind
of most major
Swalwell.
religions, so far as I'm
I
aware.
didn't see that at first.
They came prepared.
And how about cutting Social Security? Do you support that part of 2025?
I'm not sure what Project
I didn't notice it either.
2025's position on Social Security is. I'm in favor of the restructuring of Social Security along the lines of privatization and lowering and increasing the retirement age, because you, as well as every other congressperson, knows Social Security is going to go bankrupt, and yet everyone seems to have an interest in lying about it for the next decade and a half until we have to take austerity measures or radically increase inflation or taxes.
And bans against books about slavery. Do you support that part about?
Why would I possibly be in favor of bans about books about slavery? That would be
Good answer.
absolutely ridiculous. What I am in favor of is the idea that school libraries should be able to make decisions along the lines of what exactly is appropriate for, say, a seventh grader and whether they ought to be treated to cartoons and genderqueer. That's not quite the same thing.
And just because we found some receipts, you did say, I think homosexual activity is a sin.
Yes, I'm a religious Jew.
I'm
That's
sure
true.
there's a genetic component.
You found me out.
for orientation. But the view of all religious people I know has always been that sexual behavior is something
reading
that is
this
up
whole
to you.
thing?
And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your,
What do you think? You were
I'm
gonna
sure it's
say?
very hard to restrain yourself. Mr. Chairman, I just want to
Mr. Eric
shift to
Swalwell doesn't know how to restrain
Alvin Bragg.
himself.
He was supposed to be here this week, and he's
A little
not
bit more.
coming. And Hunter Biden was supposed to testify. Now he's not testifying. We were supposed to have votes on articles of impeachment, and we didn't. And again, we're just wondering, you guys write great press releases, but the payoff seems to never come. And so I guess we will keep waiting, and we'll do hearings like this. And
Gentlemen.
finally, Chairman, you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater.
He
But-
struggled.
And that's a restriction on speech, as you have recognized before. But you can yell theater in a crowded fire, and you all can continue to do that all you want, and we'll just waste the American people's time.
Gentlemen's time has expired.
What was even that point?
Theater.
I'm still trying to figure
I'm
out what
just
that
trying to
means.
figure out why Ben Shapiro was asked to testify on Project 2025.
Here comes my take. It has an explanation for that. I'm going to be Socratic. You're going to be annoyed by it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Have you ever heard the saying that politicians are actors? Politics is Hollywood for ugly people?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think Eric Swalwell is even allowed by his financial backers to have his own ideas, or is he just there to present their ideas for them?
Definitely the latter.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Ben Shapiro? And I won't say I hate Ben Shapiro. That's where I'm coming
I feel
from.
as though he's controlled opposition to keep conservatives at a certain point.
Has anything recently happened to Ben Shapiro that might have been negative for him or his brand or his company? Is he struggling right now?
I mean, his fallout with the
Cancel.
fairly conservative wing of the Republican Party. I mean, he's
He-
taken a
he's
hard
dying.
neocon stance on
Is
a lot
there
of
any
things.
growing I can answer this one if you're uncomfortable, but sort of sentiment or suspicion of Jewish populations,
I
maybe
wouldn't-
along the lines of they have their own agenda?
I would say anti-intervention is becoming
Yes.
more prominent.
You have people like Gen Z Republicans who are increasingly anti-interventionist, and therefore not only don't support the war in Ukraine, but don't support sending endless money to Israel. As
So
well.
Eric Swalwell is an actor doing what his bosses tell him to do. We don't really like Ben Shapiro. I think we all kind of see him the same way, and he is in desperate need of an image rehab.
Yeah. And
Eric Swalwell is a loser that no one likes. He can't have his brand go any worse. I think they burned Eric Swalwell to make Ben Shapiro look good. I think this video is two people working together to make Ben Shapiro look good. All Ben Shapiro said there was common sense, things everyone else has said before. I might go as far to say that he suspiciously seemed like he knew what the questions were going to be. Ben Shapiro is quick. He's quick on his feet. I'm not denying that.
I think Ben.
That's my conspiratorial suspicion. Swalwell got a call, says Ben Shapiro's dying. We need the controlled opposition brand to be built back up. We need one of those Ben Shapiro thug life videos that we used to do, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Here
I
it
think
is.
Ben was appealing to getting people who were just moderates into the conservative.
I liked Ben
movement.
Shapiro back in 2016. I didn't follow politics at all. You start getting into it. What's the first thing you see in 2016?
Well, and so
Ben
there's
Shapiro.
Ben
There's this
Shapiro
analogy.
debating college kids.
Debating college kids.
Before Charlie Kirk really took his right wing hard stance in a lot of the online spheres and Turning Point USA, I think Ben offered the same thing that Turning Point offered, the big tent conservative common sense group to then bring people into the movement who then find their place within the movement. As somebody who got brought into the conservative movement through an organization like Turning Point, it was operatives like Ben Shapiro for that organization in the beginning that really brought young people into the conservative movement.
yeah, definitely he was I would say an influence in my early political journey. But when you learn more and read up more on politics, you kind of realize that Ben has his own sort of agenda to him. To give an example, he's always been a neoconservative. He's always been vocal about being a neoconservative. And he's always used that, he's always attacked people for not being as interventionist or as neoconservative as him. And you see this with his attacks on libertarians such as Ron Paul. I believe on one occasion he called him an anti-Semite. That's such a ridiculous smear.
Ron Paul's the gentlest old man in politics now.
Oh, I love Ron Paul.
I'll say, I forget who the name was or who said it in the chat rather, but I think they said it best. They said, I don't like Ben Shapiro, but I respect him.
Yeah, I said I hate him, and I'll stand by that. I respect him.
He's undeniably
I do
smart. Probably.
I think I'm suspicious that a lot of his high-level wit is manufactured. Like this, you prepare the battlefield, like this video right here.
I just want you to stop.
Not that one.
I just want you to stop saying odd shit.
Keep forgetting I have those teed up. I wonder how well Ben Shapiro would do in an uncontrolled environment.
I mean, the college students are uncontrolled environments.
Well, but they're fucking retarded.
Right.
But so is Eric Swalwell.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
But that's what I meant. So Ben Shapiro, he has a bad take, and everyone's giving him shit. He goes, "I need to do one of those college student
is that
speeches."
Perhaps why him and Candace had such a bad falling out that Candace could outwit him to a degree.
How do you feel about Candace Owens?
Could she? I don't know if she
I
could.
felt as though she had somewhat of a point in questioning why we have to be so invested in foreign conflicts to the degree that we are. But I also think that she is not ironic, right?
Stumbling on the word stumbling. I was fine. We were all laughing at that.
She's not as articulate on voicing her opinions, and you kind of see this now when she's talking about the cult of science and flat Earth stuff, and talking about Hitler and the Nazis. But she may or may not have a point, but she's not wording herself well, and Ben Shapiro and other conservatives are latching onto that by demolishing her on the points because she represents a wing of conservatives that do not want to be as interventionist as them. They're not going after people like Dave Smith, Glenn Greenwald, Thomas Massie, etc., because they know that they can articulate themselves better.
Well, and you know that when he said she's better articulating herself, and the one thing I said was I'm not sure she is. I said that because I don't know if you saw when the PBD podcast had Candace Owens on to debate Chris Cuomo. Mm-hmm. It was kind of layup questions. She wasn't very tough on him, but then when Dave Smith came in to do the same thing, pretty much ruined Chris Cuomo's career. I don't know how he can come back
again. He ruined his career again.
Yeah,
Fredo.
It makes me wonder how. I still would love to see the Shapiro
I guess it's not
Owens
that I
debate,
think
but I just
she
don't know how it
might
would.
be that like articulate, but more so that she's somebody who will stand firm against Ben and in an argumentative setting, which is why I think there was such a blow up about their disagreement.
Well, and I'll tell you, not to get like, I'm not big on like the whole Jewish hate, and I'm not big on like pro-Jew. I'm just one of the few people it seems these days like I don't care.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah, but I will admit, like, and I understand Ben Shapiro being an Orthodox Jew, whatever he is. I understand that he puts his religion first, and a lot of times, I think that would play into Candace's hands, though, where she would be able to say things that Ben wouldn't be able to say, even if he agrees with them, simply because he's restricted by the box that his religion puts him in.
Exactly.
But also, Andrew Klavan, didn't he convert from Judaism to Catholicism? And then Andrew Klavan really laid into Candace, who just converted to Catholicism as well. So is this more like a personal work relationship problem that we just don't know about, that they use their religions kind of like as a front for their disagreement?
Interesting take. I don't know if I've thought about that.
Take. That's probably, honestly, Occam's razor is probably...
I think Candace Owens, number one, is the face of a larger faction, number one. I think there's a team behind her. I think it's definitely Christian.
For sure. For sure.
I almost think that before she ever got hired at the Daily Wire, she knew exactly how she was quitting the Daily Wire. That felt very... I think she knows exactly what she's doing, and I think she's too young to say some of the stuff she says. And then when she does her own show, which again, I'm terrible, I don't watch a ton of stuff, but I've watched a little bit of Candace. I try to watch anybody that starts popping up in the news everywhere, and she certainly did and has been for a while now. But
the question is, who do you think 10 years from now is more successful?
yeah, well, so before that's a great question, but I mean, who do you think won between Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens during her exit?
Oh, definitely Candace.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's the whole reason Ben Shapiro needs this image rehab type stuff, if that's what it is.
Definitely won the optics battle.
I think her exit was just, like Jack had said previously, representative of a shift in the conservative movement. The non-interventionist
So you got to ask the tricky question though. Did she like join the Daily Wire, saying, "No, I got this great job at the Daily Wire," and then she tried to make it work, and then she realized there was this religion friction, and then quit? Or did she know the day she took that job that she was gonna take down these anti-Christian?
I'm gonna present a normie response. Perhaps disagreements started to build up. She left like a normal, unsatisfied employee, and it happened to be at a time when there are shifting groups in the conservative movement where Candace knew that she would have a following regardless of her status.
So do you think she waited for that to happen, or do you just think it just all kind of happened and she saw it and she just
could have predicted the shift in the conservative movement? Because everybody in the first Republican primary debate dismissed Vivek Ramaswamy as a non-serious candidate, and now his non-interventionist and very conservative opinions are mainstream conservative opinions.
I'm throwing the chat up here quick because I have a feeling we'll be lots of different opinions here as well.
She should work for Gavin McInnes. He does have his own site.
The other thing about Candace that's somewhat interesting, just to file under interesting, is that she's married to a British lord who is fabulously wealthy. Do you know all this, Farmer?
I know he's a Catholic.
I've heard that. I don't know much about it, but I have heard that.
Is he British or is he Irish?
Plays in her
He might be
hand
Irish.
quite well. If she doesn't have to worry about money, she can really do whatever the hell she wants.
George Farmer.
Oh, his name's literally Farmer?
Yeah.
I thought you meant he was, like, actually a farmer.
Well, I think he, owns 5 trillion acres or something, one of those things.
Oh, is it like the British Bill Gates?
I don't think he's on that level, but he's old money. You know that term, old new money?
Yeah.
Net worth.
$240 million he has.
So she could start her own company tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, she doesn't need any money. She's all right. She's doing okay.
Well, so that presents the idea she might just be pursuing what she
Oh, I guess
believes.
I
So
should,
I just
show you
know.
what we're
Don't
looking
get
at,
that
shouldn't I?
confused, though. If that guy's smart, he's in debt.
He owns more than 15 mansions and real estate properties in the United Kingdom, Germany, and so many European countries that just said other ones. He has a private jet. He owns U.S. media outlets. He has a minority stake. See?
Yeah. It's no wonder Candace Owens burned bridges with the Daily Wire. She has fuck you money.
So I wouldn't even put it past. Maybe it's as simple as her husband's like, hey, honey, you want to fuck with your boss that you don't need to worry about ever again? I'll buy part of his company.
That's probably a good question. If her her husband is a
That's
powerful
surprising
guy
to
like
me.
that, what's he whispering in her ear? Because, he's got some plays of his own.
That's enough money to I'll buy your boss's company and
What
fuck with
other
him.
media companies does he own?
Farmer?
Yeah, because it didn't.
That's Shapiro. That's Shapiro.
This is
Oh,
Shapiro we went to, which I was shocked it's that high,
Also,
honestly. That's
I just realized that picture of that wasn't Ben Shapiro. Wow.
Farmer, what does he own? Where were we? Here we go. Okay, minority stake in the Daily Wire. Oh, he sold it after his wife left. Yeah, so he inherited this all from his parents. And you know what lady means? Lord and lady. Those are nobles.
Apparently, it's really easy to get some land in the EU or in Europe.
Well, there's like some countries that are offering like young couples to move there.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, it's like-
I always wonder about that, though. You get there and you get like a half acre of rocks, and you're like, oh, shit.
I own 10 square feet of land in Scotland. This is a true
Oh,
story.
yeah, I'm technically a lord, too.
Yeah, I got the well, when we take our break here in a minute, we'll go look at my Lord plaque.
You have it on a passport? You can get on your passport with that.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah, but getting back to the the new wing Candace Owens represents, I don't think it's really all that new. I think it's always been there. Like you
So
see
that's
that with
kind of what
Pat-
I'm saying. Yeah, I think that wing hired or whatever, however that works, they acquired the talent, the word talent that is Candace Owens, and they said this Daily Wire shit's irritating, and let's fuck with them.
Yeah.
So go work there for a little bit and just be all fucking, I'm 20 whatever American girl, and then let's just nuke them out of nowhere. They'll never see it coming.
Right.
It's like one of the few times I've seen Ben Shapiro reduced to a blathering idiot. He didn't know what to do. I don't know that. He obviously someone around him finally was like, "Shut the fuck up,"
I think
and he just stopped talking about
when
it.
that leaked video came out of him at the private event talking about Candace Owens behind her back, that was.
Ooh, I don't even know if I saw that.
That was the end of it. You
Just-
know what I'm talking about?
No, I never saw this video.
That was when he was talking about her being an anti-Semite, and she responded back to him on Twitter, basically saying like, "Why did you say it to my face?"
Her whole exit. That's what I was saying. When she says things that I don't think she's lived long enough to be able to be smart enough to say, like she knew. Ben Shapiro came at her with all the predictable, you're an anti-Semite, blah, 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 blah. And she was ready for it. Like, she had what I believe to be scripted responses ready to go.
Right.
That sounded like they were written by someone that's like 60 and was Christian their whole life.
Wait,
and,
would it sound like it was maybe written by a extremely,
like a British lord?
extremely successful businessman who's worth a couple $100 million? And yeah.
Old money family that has like private history books from 1,000 years ago that knows all the, something like that. Yeah,
Right.
it did feel a little bit like that.
But yeah,
Now that you say it, yeah.
getting back to this wing, like I would say it started with Pat Buchanan, honestly, or he's just been upholding that just conservative tradition of anti-intervention, and Tucker kind of represents this too. I would say he's a better face or more popular face than Candace, but I think the future of this sort of wing is going to be Vivek.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think we're going to find out here in the next few months.
I think it depends who wins this election. I think if Trump wins the election, I think Vivek's the future. I think if Trump loses the election,
He
the
certainly
future is,
hitched his fortunes to Trump.
the future is somebody that we don't even know about. Some like far right authoritarian. Like things are gonna get bad.
Well,
if we have
so
another 4 years of this.
My wonder is where does MAGA go? Or
After
America
Trump?
First. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we gotta like not think about that, or we'll go crazy.
No, I think we do
But
though.
that
I
is-
think I think the movement is much bigger than Trump is.
How about this?
It is.
It's we're about at 1 hour in. We're ready for our 10-minute break. Sorry, I don't mean to go right into the mic like that. And I'm fiending for a cigarette. How about we make that the main point we come back with in 10 minutes?
Let's do it.
We
I
cool with
agree.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, it is. Let me get my 4:55. So at 5:05, roughly, we will be back. I forgot to say this at the beginning. I think we're going to stick around, I think all of us, and just watch the Biden Big Boy stream. Are you guys up for that?
I'm up for it.
Yeah, I'm down.
So what we're going to do, we're take a break now. We'll go another hour. We'll take a break to, get that stream set up. We might do a separate stream, like a 3cc stream. But we're going to do the Biden live stream as well. So for right now, 10-minute break. We will be back shortly. See you in, where's my button? 10 minutes.
First time.
Fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Alex Joner. Holy fucking cows. Smoking town lives. All over is over. World's biggest.
First time.
Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. Smoking town lives. Lit all over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cows. Smoking town lives. Holy fucking shit. Smoking town lives. Lit all over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cows. Smoking town lives. All over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. Smoking town lives. Lit all over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cows. Smoking town lives. All over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. Smoking town lives. Lit all over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cows. Smoking town lives. All over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. Smoking town lives. Lit all over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cows. Smoking town lives. All over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. Smoking town lives. Lit all over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cows. Smoking town lives. All over is over.
First time.
World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. Smoking town lives. Lit all over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cows. Smoking town lives. All over is over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. Smoking town lives. Lit all over fucking shit. This fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow. This fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. This fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow. This fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. This fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow. This fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
All right, we're back. I'm going to actually remember to turn everybody's mic up here. Let's go to the chat quickly. We got one more hour to go in the Cider house, and then everybody's going to hang around. I think we're going to stop this stream, start a new one, just to kind of shed the FBI agents that are dropping our frames right now, or whatever it is that's going on. But, I meant to turn that down, not just cut it off awkwardly. But since I did, we were talking about what direction is the MAGA party, faction, camp, whatever you want to call it. Not Republican, though. What direction will it go when Trump is gone? And that's a fascinating question. And I don't have an answer, and I was hoping one of you guys are all just like, shit, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have a thought, Jack?
I would say the only direction worth going is reform, or at least mild reform, because we've gone to a point where the left, just the broad left in our country, can abuse our systems to beat us over the head with it. But for some reason, the establishment GOP just refuses to acknowledge that this is a problem, and they refuse to take the issues that we can win on ahead and just use them to beat them over the head with it.
Before like, assuming that it does keep going, I want to get to that. But before we get to that kind of stuff, like, do you think MAGA will keep going without Trump? Will it even?
I mean, it has. Like, it originated without Trump. That's what the Tea Party is.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it was just that
Or was.
we had what's the term? Class traitor. Trump was the class traitor that made MAGA mainstream.
Yeah.
But Occupy Wall Street type stuff, that did not survive without a strong leader.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump's gone.
I'll tell you what. Here's a possibility I don't think we're considering yet. Have we thought about this could be the end of the Republican Party?
I think
It very
that's
well might be.
So here's an interesting thing. You look at Doug Mastriano in 2022 in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
He had the largest grassroots network of volunteers that any Republican gubernatorial candidate in the state has ever seen. And one of two things happened with those volunteers. They got pissed off with their local county committees and never came around again, or they took over their local county committees. Michelle from Center County was part of that Doug Mastriano takeover. Then you have other counties where I'm privy to conversations with other county chairs, and they just bitch and moan. Excuse me, sorry, I shouldn't swear on the air, but
You're
they
fine.
just
We
gripe
ain't syndicated.
They gripe and moan about these volunteers for these candidates that then disappear. So I think Mihaly brings up a very good point that we're either going to see the takeover of the Republican Party by America First Republicans or the dissolution of the Republican Party, because it'll inherently lose every election post America First.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just think when you look back at history, the reason the Republican Party is even a thing is because the Whig Party became too complacent when competing against the Democrats.
And what do we compare the Republican Party to? The Whig Party.
Yeah, and now what do we say about the Republicans? They're complacent.
Because they're just Democrat lights. I mean, most of our elected Republicans in Congress, sans a few in the Freedom Caucus or Thomas Massie, like...
They're Democrats going the speed limit.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Thomas Massie and his wife?
Well, he just put out a tweet. He put out a tweet earlier. Like, I saw it at work this morning. He put out a tweet, like, earlier, and, like, I'd say around 8 or 9 o'clock. And it was just about his wife's passing, dismissing any conspiracy theories.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Please fill me in. What's happening here?
Thomas Massie put out a video calling out his Republican colleagues in Congress for all having to ask their AIPAC guy, meaning the Israeli-influenced Political Action Committee, about how they needed to vote on certain things. A week later, Thomas's wife passes away, but just this morning he put out a statement condemning the conspiracies about it. Because there was a lot of people that thought Thomas Massie's wife would have been murdered because of
what he said.
But he dismissed it in his tweets.
Now, what if she was, and now he's playing ball? Just to throw that out there, maybe, you know.
Yeah, I didn't know about this at all until last week's show. Like, Danny, I don't think you knew either, right?
No, I didn't even know that. It was very quiet. I didn't know until John brought it up that his wife had passed away.
Yeah. Where's him talking about?
He just said, although I first reacted with indignation to the intent
of
the internet conspiracy theories about her death, I have been amused because I know Rhonda would have laughed, and if I were on the outside, I might have similar concerns.
So he says, without violating her privacy, I can dismiss some of those theories by disclosing she did not take the COVID shots. Your house is very secure. Family was in the house the night she passed. And an autopsy has been conducted. We do not yet have the results.
And him just writing all this out just makes me feel more sorry for him. It's a terrible thing to go through.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't know that I'm with Mihaly on this one, Danny. AIPAC killed him.
I don't know that that's my stance.
I'm with John Ward on this one, then. I'm with the Harambe phone on this one. If you don't know, the Harambe phone is very anti-Semitic and anti-Judaic, which apparently are different things, I learned the other day.
What's the difference between anti-Semitism and anti-Judaic?
Fuck if I know. Sorry. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. We were talking about what will happen with MAGA after Trump is gone. Baron Trump becomes the God Emperor.
So that
Dune
is a theory that I've leaned heavy into. Give it 20 years, Baron Trump's going to be our Julius Caesar.
The timing kind of is terrifying.
You see, and this is where, like, while I'm an avid Trump supporter, there's a lot of peers that I know are leaning into, like, this heavy, like there's those memes circulating with Barron's profile compared to Alexander the Great's profile, and I'm just like, nah, I think I'm with Cicero on this one.
The music, the dun, 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 yeah.
I just like that he's like 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. If you look at presidents who have been elected, it's always pretty much every time it's the taller guy that gets elected.
Oh, that's a real psychological effect in human beings. Like CEOs trend really tall.
Ichnosis. I don't know if John realized he was referencing Dune or not.
Someone said Dune reference. The God Emperor?
Yeah. Did you know that was?
I was a Baron Trump reference. Dune might have ripped off Baron Trump's life story.
Yeah.
But did you get the like?
But seriously, though,
yes, I know Dune.
Okay, well, what's the name of the book that?
God Emperor of Dune.
Like, are you fucking with me?
Isn't that what it's called?
I have no idea.
There's like
The name of what book?
Once Paul Atreides, like
Yeah, Paul Atreides.
eventually like becomes God Emperor, or
No,
his son becomes
no,
God
his son
Emperor.
Leto.
Then,
Leto
like,
too.
mixes with the
Sand trout.
The sandworm.
Don't question my Dune knowledge, bitch.
You got it. Bro
Wait, am I
knows
answering
the
your question? That's what you're asking, right?
Yeah, like did you actually know you were making a Dune reference?
Yes,
or
I know
not?
God Emperor. Are you kidding me? Get out of here.
But seriously, think about it. Barron Trump growing up.
David Lynch, Kyle MacLachlan. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I just don't know what you're talking about. So
Talking about
pivoting.
the real movie Dune. While you talk, I'll show you what Dune's all about. Go ahead.
Think about it.
Say your college kid age shit.
Barron Trump growing up in like the most formative years of his life in the White House, seeing everything that they did to his dad. Think about the level of resentment that he has towards the deep state and the
Straight
bureaucracy.
up, that does give off Octavian vibes.
Oh, look, it was even made in 1984.
You old man.
How about that?
It kind of does, like, I think I assume you guys would have heard about the same stuff but
Wait.
I keep forgetting I'm like almost twice as old as you. And
Can
so,
I call a timeout?
Yeah.
We know the
Is this the
Timothy.
Dune 1 to the Dune 2 that came out? Like
No.
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 This is the first
No.
ever Dune movie,
What?
but it was bad.
Wait, no, but
So
the Dune
they-
2 came out. Is that in relation to
No,
this?
no. Dune. So the first Dune released a couple years ago. So the new Dune movies that you're seeing are a reboot. This was an attempt at making a Dune franchise back in the 80s.
All right, you rookies. Here comes the story. We got to do it since Danny questioned my Dune knowledge. Dune is a novel by Frank Herbert.
Yes.
It's been the holy
It is
grail to
straight
adapt
up.
it into a good movie. No one's ever been able to do it. It started
Wasn't
with
it
a
written in the
director named
60s?
Alejandro Jodorowsky. He is, I think he's still alive. He's pretty old. He made a movie that I actually love called The Holy Mountain.
Well, I mean, Herbert.
You ever seen this? Don't interrupt my story.
The Holy Mountain?
The Holy Mountain is insane. I highly recommend you watch it. You'll probably hate it, but it's very watchable. It's very artsy, whatever.
I heard it's very experimental.
Yes. So after he made this movie, his financial backers were like, "You're the man. You can do whatever the hell you want. What do you want to do?" He goes, "I want to make Dune." There's a documentary about him failing to do so called Jodorowsky's Dune. He came up with, I believe it was like a 16-hour-long movie he wanted to do. But in this movie, he presented it to funders, who all turned him down, by the way, in this gigantic like comic book that he had done. And one of the famous artists he had work on this was H.R. Giger. You know that? You seen the movie Alien? So this failed Jodorowsky's Dune is where pretty much every famous sci-fi thing you see in movies came from, like concept art, including Star Wars and everything like that. So the studio was like, this is an awesome idea, but we're not making a 16-hour movie. They fire Jodorowsky. They say, we need some other kind of artistic director to make this movie. And the guy at that time was David Lynch. Tell me.
What movies did he make at that time? I know he made
Lynch?
Eraserhead. Yeah, but like
Eraserhead. Yeah. So gosh, it's all probably
because it's kind of funny in hindsight.
the
like
big
what they saw.
Lynch movie that blew him up was The Elephant Man, I think.
Elephant Man. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty of his filmography. That's the most normie friendly, I would say.
Yeah. And I quite like David Lynch. And what happened was David Lynch made this movie for a mega studio, and the studio took over. After it was done, David Lynch says, I'm never making a studio film again. And he didn't. Mm-hmm. And he disowned the film. And so basically he had like a 4-hour movie, and the studio cut it down to 2, and it rendered it incomprehensible, and the movie totally flopped.
Yeah.
But from all that stuff came like every famous sci-fi movie you've seen since the 70s came from Jodorowsky's little comic book.
Yeah, but Denis Villeneuve, like I don't know how you feel about the new Dune movies, but he had the right idea to splitting it up into 2 different movies.
Yeah, it's not one movie. And that's just the first book.
Yeah, it's just the first book, exactly.
So yes, I know what the God Emperor is, Danny Kunselman.
Well, it was just really.
Now I'm
interesting.
going to start quoting from memory the entire book. Are you ready? No, I'm kidding.
I still don't know who it is.
It's like when someone tries to challenge you on Game of Thrones, Danny.
Jack, the only one more autistic than you, Jack, is fucking me. Don't you forget it. So, politics. I think, is what this show's about.
Well, I mean, Frank Herbert wrote Dune 100% with reference to what was happening in the Middle East, like with the
For sure.
with the oil embargo and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was definitely a reference for the spice.
Ben Shapiro's net worth. And speaking of the spice, all right, let me pare down
I'm so
my
confused how we got from Ben Shapiro's net worth to the director of Dune.
alcohol.
But there we are.
Alcohol is how we got there.
Yeah, it wasn't just Middle East. It was also Lawrence of Arabia. That was directly inspired.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things.
No more beers for John, says Patrick Miller.
Oh, I've been neglecting the chat a little bit. I'm actually not hammered. Come on. What's going on, chat? Let me say hi to you here real quick.
Mel Brooks.
Ooh, man, Mel Brooks. You guys know who Mel Brooks is, right?
Absolutely.
Great director.
All right, starting from the top. Spearhand, welcome back. Patrick Miller, welcome back. Joshua Berner, welcome back. Barry Lindo.
Did John pull it out again?
Kind of like almost a... Speaking of movies, Kubrick, right? Barry Lyndon? That's got to be a Barry Lyndon reference. That is a long Tyrannosaur. Oh, I see. Tyrannosaurus wrecked. AIPAC assassinated Massie's wife and threatened his family. Gulf Coast, Florida man of the Gulf Coast. I do remember you. Welcome back. Thos, welcome back. Leonidas Kronos, welcome. Encode Jack Dawes, welcome back. We've got that weird audio little flicker coming back. You guys weren't here for that. How's our frame dropping going? Oh, it's dropping. They found us. They found us. They must have not wanted us talking about Dune.
Oh no.
So you guys can't be telling people the secrets of Dune. Chats all appear to be working. We got about 40 minutes till the next break, and then we're going to do the Joe Biden live stream.
Okay.
If you're just joining me. I meant to do myself there. Sorry, Jack. Yeah, so Biden is doing a live stream today at 6:30 Eastern. We're going till 6. We're going to take a break. We're going to start up a new stream. Trump, will it continue? Matt, I don't know, man. Like, so let me ask it this way. Who will be the leader when Trump's gone?
Someone who can emulate his energy, I would say.
Like Vivek, I know it seems like you seem to be angling toward, which I don't disagree with, by the way. I mean, he seems to be blowing everybody out of the water in terms of charisma. I like him. Like, when I watch him on a surface level, I'm like, yeah, seems all right.
To be fair, like, there's a lot of people that think he's a psyop and, like, plays to opposition, which, I mean, that's always possible with, like,
They're going to
government.
say that about no matter who it is.
Exactly.
They were saying that about Trump.
So do all
But-
three of you guys like Vivek? Let me ask that
I
first.
like him.
I like him a lot.
A
But
lot,
where,
okay.
Where I was getting at with him, though, is we finally have an Obama for our side. We have somebody who's well-spoken and articulate and young and cunning for our side.
You're making
Yeah.
Ben Carson sad.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about him. He is kind of like the Republican Obama, and because he's a little shade darker than most Republicans.
That's fair to say. We got to talk about that.
He can say
That's
he can
definitely part of
say-
it.
Yeah, he can say certain things that white people can't get away with these days.
I agree. Candace Owens has that going for her also.
But
that would have been... Go ahead.
Labor hours in the comment section makes a very good point. I agree with that. Trump's VP, whoever that is, will be a serious contender for that position.
For the yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's maybe why this VP thing has been kept so under wraps. I mean, certainly it's occurred to Trump that it's this problem a lot of people have. They don't like declare an error. They don't make their wishes known or something like that.
I think inherently Trump's VP pick, Trump knows he's picking an heir to the MAGA movement. Or at least I would hope he realizes that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure he does, though, because it's Donald Trump. And as much as I love the guy, he's not going to pick somebody who's going to outshine him.
I agree. He doesn't want a strong personality that he wants to compete with, I feel. But I hope that he doesn't make the same mistake in hiring Mike Pence or another Mike Pence.
A guy he's certainly not going to be Mike Pence. but-
I'm sorry. The River Spirit just said, and he uses toilet paper. That is hilarious.
So, but like that's actually isn't the point of Project 2025 to help prepare the government bureaucratic apparatus to work in Trump's favor? Like,
yeah,
so-
but I think there's a difference.
well,
There's
any
a difference
Republican,
between
any Republican.
perception between the base and Trump, because he's a mild reformer. He's not this super radical reformer. We like to call him like God Emperor, but really he doesn't see himself as that.
Let me ask you this question. If you could choose, regardless of who you think it's going to be, if you could choose anybody to be a vice president, who would it be?
Tulsi Gabbard, because
Interesting.
optics reasons, and I feel as though she's gone. She and Trump have something in common. They have a grudge against the DNC. She got screwed over during the debates, and she wants revenge. And some people may think that that's like a petty reason, but it's that pettiness that makes them strive to do a good job.
Well, make it like a controlled thought experiment moment where we don't have to worry about the political ramifications. Who are we choosing? Because in that situation, I'm choosing somebody like Vivek, which while he does check some of the intersectionality boxes, he's willing to, from what we see, get the job done or go in and start slashing administrative state apparatus. So in that sense, I'd also be so totally satisfied with J.D. Vance and Byron Donalds and any nominally decent House Freedom Caucus members, or somebody like Josh Hawley. But
Who's in the news? Yeah.
I'm going to hit you with the surprise answer here. The reason I asked this question just so I can say this.
Yeah.
To be honest. Somebody said, actually in the chat, and I totally agree with this, something I thought about before. I think General Michael Flynn should be the vice president.
Interesting.
I thought you were going to say Alex Jones for a second.
No, I'll tell you what, just the world we live in and where we're headed towards World War III, I think somebody like a General Michael Flynn or even Eric Prince from Blackwater, and that might be a tough sell.
Interesting. Throw out your
Smart
your
guy.
votes too, chat. By the way, because the chat's a little behind, so I'm gonna pull it up in like 2 minutes. So throw out who you think it will be. But all right,
I think we might need a wartime conciliary.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, Trump could pick anyone as his VP choice, and they would still be popular than Kamala.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just true. Like, when you look at polling, that's just true. Any pick he makes is bound to improve him in the polls, because Kamala is just that much dead weight for Biden.
we're gonna find out in like an hour or two about all this, which is I just realized I was checking the clock.
What if he steps down? I guess he won't because it's at the NATO
Yeah,
meeting.
I was saying this last week. I do not think he's going to step down, even if the party wants him to leave. His pride is too big for him to leave.
also, he has the ability to protect his family as it stands right now. At the minute he steps down,
Yeah.
like,
Keep going, yeah, but I think that's a big reason I don't even know if he knows what's
His
happening,
brother,
but
his
Hunter
sister,
and
his
Jill
son,
all showed
yeah.
up, and they're like, you ain't quitting, bro.
Yeah.
Hunter's on trial for like 20 different things right now. So, yeah, I think the Bidens are very invested in him staying, but Clooney came out. I mean, that was big. I think I had, yeah.
What a fraud.
Yeah, of course.
They all knew. Like, I don't understand.
Well, so that's
this.
my I kind of don't. I'm not question for you, but just in general. So Clooney came out. If you didn't see this, George Clooney, who had a fundraiser for Biden. It was not that long ago, right?
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. And Clooney comes out and says Biden was not like that 3 weeks ago. Where's the damn actual quote?
Someone made this comparison on X, but they all like to say that Biden is like that frog from Looney Tunes, where when nobody's looking, he turns into this like tap dancer with an amazing voice. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my
here we go.
ragtime gal. But then when everyone is looking, he's just not saying anything.
I think Dave Portnoy said
that
it
makes
best.
sense.
Dave Portnoy said, "What a hero George Clooney is for coming out 3 weeks after his fundraiser to declare Joe Biden as a vegetable." So that basically just sums it up right there, where it's clearly just doing what the party wants him to do.
Let me grab some supers here real quick. Lord of the Ree, John, your mic sounds great. Everyone else sounds a little quiet, but I'm digging the phone. I did
I'm
hear.
sorry,
I
I'll
d-
speak
no,
right
it's
next to
we were talking about this before the show. How I like to smash my face into my microphone, but I just balanced everything out. It should be all right.
Doesn't help. I just pulled mine out.
That just sets right in there. Oh, you got, and everyone gets to watch too, because I didn't take a lot of time to set up your circle camera.
We're gonna
I'll give you some privacy. There
First
you go.
time.
Fuck, man, I had a point there.
That's my bad.
what were we talking about?
I don't.
We were
I don't
talking
know.
about George Clooney.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
I was gonna try to find his quote, but there was something else. Oh, right. So Clooney's like 3 weeks ago he wasn't like that. Is this more like Clooney speaking as Obama's mouthpiece telling Joe Biden it's time to quit, or is it Clooney covering his own ass because he's getting a ton of phone calls from his Hollywood friends that are like, motherfucker, 3 weeks ago you said he was fine. So he's doubled down on it. He's like, 3 weeks ago he was fine, but now
It's a mix of both.
he needs to drop out. You can never read the New York Times. It's really annoying.
It's a mix of both. It's like what you said last week, John. People are going to say, well, he's good. Like, he can perform because they don't want to look bad. And when he fucks up massively is when they'll say, oh, wow, it's only now that he's bad.
I want to get his actual words. I love Joe Biden, Clooney wrote in a New York Times opinion piece.
I'm sure he
Because
does.
people care about what George Clooney has to say, I guess. As a senator, as a vice president and president, I consider him a friend and I believe in him. But the Biden he saw during the June 15th fundraiser, so, yeah, 3 weeks, which also included Brahma, was not the Joe big fucking deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. Oh, wait a minute. Now I'm misremembering, I feel like. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate. Oh.
And that's what Porno was saying. What a hero to come out 3 weeks later.
I see what you're saying. Yes, I only caught the beginning of this. So George Clooney's still an asshole. He's just not so much covering his own ass. Yeah, I'm glad you guys, have... It's amazing how many people my own age... God, where's my damn internet button? There it is. And old, they like George Clooney, some kind of bastion of truth.
So I really like the Roman perspective on how celebrities' opinions should be treated. Yeah, you can go fight in the gladiator pits. You can be an actress, but we don't take you seriously.
Yeah, they were
and,
pariahs.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah. They weren't given any serious
I think we're gonna go back to that. I think this era of celebrity was really only an era of using celebrities to profit. And celebrities just don't have the pull they used to.
No, they don't.
I consider Tom Cruise to be kind of like the last
of
movie star.
Yeah.
I would say Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt also are good contenders.
But even still, Tom Cruise, just the way he goes about everything.
He does it the way they all used to. They all used to be professional like that.
Right.
And their interviews were super professional, and you can tell Tom Cruise wants everyone to like him.
Speaking of Tom Cruise interviews, you ever seen the interview of him? I think it was on 60 Minutes or Good Morning America, something weird, one of those mainstream things, where he was talking about I believe his wife at the time, and how she wouldn't let her on the drugs.
Oh, I don't know about.
He sounds totally deranged, but if you listen to the words he says, he makes some damn good arguments about why people shouldn't be on so many pills these days.
If I remember correctly,
I gotta go watch this.
The guy interviewing him got outed for some allegations or something. I know what you're talking about. It's on MSNBC or something.
Mm-hmm.
The one I always remember about Tom Cruise is Russell Brand talking about Tom Cruise. You ever hear that?
No.
You know Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Russell Brand, who was in movies for a little while. He was some bit part in a Tom Cruise movie, and he was on I don't know, call it Jimmy Fallon or something. I mean, Russell Brand had become really famous. And he's like, hey, back before you were really that famous, you worked on this Tom Cruise movie. What was that like? And Russell Brand, who's a comedian, got very serious, and he's like, dude, Tom Cruise is on a whole nother level than anybody else in Hollywood. He's like, my first day on the set, I'm sitting there, and he's like, and Tom walks up to me, and he's like, hey, Russell, hey, I'm Tom, nice to meet you. I heard your grandmother is from so-and-so, and he's like, he knew all this shit about me. He's like, he must have had a team of people research it. And he's like, and then he's like, so, okay, this guy's one of those, he makes you feel really good, and then he never talks to you again. He goes, nope, next day. He's like, so I told him something about, my grandma's doing, whatever. She's got to go to this town on Tuesday or something, some random factoid. And the next time he saw Tom Cruise was 2 or 3 days later on set. Tom's like, oh, how was your grandmother's appointment in fucking, with Dr. So-and-so in this town in England?
He has to recruit people.
And he's like, and Russell Brand was saying, well, he's like, this was at the height of the Scientology scandal. So Tom Cruise's likability was at an all-time low. And he goes, when I went into this movie, I was expecting to hate Tom Cruise and think he was really weird, and just expecting him to be this weird Scientologist. He's like, it's impossible not to like Tom Cruise. He's like, you don't understand. He's like the most professional. He'd remember shit about you like years later.
Yeah,
He's
but
like, there's nobody like him.
The thing is, that's an intentional component to
Right.
Scientology and that whole shit. No, I'm being serious.
No, I'm not laughing because you're not being
you're
right.
In order to hook you, they have these like general health or life advice or just ways of talking to people to make you think that they're your friend. But then when they hook you, and then like the crazy stuff comes later.
What's the alien's name in Scientology?
Xenomorph
or something.
For some reason, I thought of a cube, but that's a totally different thing.
I mean, what Russell Brand was essentially saying is that you can take Tom Cruise at his lowest public moment of public opinion, and he will make you like him. Mm-hmm. He's just that good. I find that interesting. I don't know why we're talking about Tom Cruise. I'm assuming it's one of the three of yours faults.
Because he's the man.
He's the last traditional actor.
He's the last samurai, man.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's actually hilarious, by the way. I love the fact that he was casted as a samurai. It's just
he's not the last samurai. It's someone else. Like he's just a
Jack. It's Tom Cruise. He's the last samurai.
Okay,
you're mistaken. And on his deathbed, he's gonna make a movie called The Last Bantu. And he'll be in Africa fighting with the Zulu warriors against the Boers. Yeah. That actually would be kind of a funny fucking movie, wouldn't it?
The tragedy of Rhodesia.
Yeah, I was about to say he'll be in Rhodesia. Yeah, I'm a Rhodesian.
Do you guys know about Orania?
No.
Oh, all right. Let's not get too racist. It's not racist at all. Apparently in South Africa, they formed another white-only enclave called Orania just because they got tired of this shit, and they're just
they got tired of being
starting a new South Africa within the country itself.
Well, have you seen what's going on in South Africa?
Oh, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I'm not judging them at all.
When I visited, it was just like rolling brownouts everywhere, and you had like
You've been there.
It's just like I don't know if it's like the German in me that's like I want to spend time there.
I must go there.
What kind of animal were you killing?
I mean,
how many elephant tusks did you collect?
0. Elephants are off limits, but
sold them all the Chinese.
I did take a wildebeest, a warthog.
No wonder they're so horny.
Yeah, that's. Maybe Eric Swalwell.
Danny, I'm sorry, Danny.
Maybe Eric Swalwell would know a little something.
There you go. What are we talking? Poaching elephant. You were poaching elephants in South Africa. Continue the story.
No, I just like it's. Conventionally, it would be a really nice country if the political and economic situation of that state were not so horrendous. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just astonishing to me to hear the advertisements for dry ice on the radio. Wow. I'm like, what am I hearing? Because of the rolling brownouts.
Remember when?
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Remember when people were chanting "Kill the Boer, kill the
Oh,
Boer"?
I think they still are. Yeah.
And people were saying,
and
you had people saying, "Oh, well, they don't really mean it."
It doesn't count because they don't mean it.
What else was really interesting to me whenever I was there was the inverse relationship that we see with African Americans and whites versus in like urban and rural populations. And there, the whites are conglomerated in the cities.
Really?
Yeah.
So the hoods in South Africa, you walk down the hood in the city at night in South, it's all whiteys?
I can't say I've been in the hood of South Africa, but when I was in Johannesburg in the shopping centers, there was a...
That would be kind of weird.
It was like the reverse of what you tend to see in
the United States. It felt weird, noticeably?
Yeah. You were in the parts where people...
You were in the white areas.
You were in the Boer parts where they talk about wanting to kill.
Like whenever I saw, like, when you see all the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Dutch girls manning the registers in South Africa...
I mean, South Africa is like 90% black, I think, right?
Maybe now it is.
It's pretty high.
Yeah, it's a large majority for sure.
Well, since you seem to know some about it, you guys may want to check out Orania. I think I spelled it right.
Orania.
Well, they got farms.
It's their new. You have to be white Afrikaans to live there.
So this is something really interesting. Zimbabwe confiscated all the property of white Zimbabweans?
Rhodesians.
Like, they kicked out, essentially, the personal hunter for us whenever we were down there told us the story of how his family in the 90s had to leave Zimbabwe because the government was confiscating. They could only fit everything in one car, and then they had to leave the country.
That is this movie right here. It's a great documentary. You guys should check it out. Mugabe and the White African.
I remember Lawrence Southern did a pretty good documentary on South Africa too.
This is specifically follows. Yeah, they really don't like publicizing this one. It's a white South African farmer, or not? Maybe it was Zimbabwe. Yeah, Zimbabwe. Back when exactly what you were just talking about, Mugabe kicked out all the white farmers, and then they all starved to death. So I had to laugh at that.
Well, so now you have all these people that hold resentment for this ethnically driven government in South Africa, because where did they go after they left Zimbabwe? They moved to South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I mean, all these little ethnic tensions are definitely building up in that country. And then you have Malema in the, like in South Africa, just like kill the Boer, and, like making songs about it and whatnot. And it's like
They don't mean it, though.
you're not helping anything.
They don't mean it.
And the fact that you think they mean
really
it
mean-
is racist, Danny. You should feel ashamed of
I
yourself.
don't know. I feel for the people I was around when I was in South Africa.
Who's the guy that says they were there when they were burning down the farms?
We got some movie content. Sorry, I zoned out there.
David Olerking.
Yep.
You know him?
Yep, he's a regular.
Mhm.
Oh, you were. Oh, I see what you're saying.
There's a lady from Punxsutawney.
Oh my gosh, we need to hear that story.
I mean, even in the '90s, like there's a really close friend of mine who's involved in local politics back home in Punxsutawney. She's originally from South Africa, obviously Dutch descent.
Mhm.
Her family had been, honestly, her family had probably been in South Africa longer than any of our families have been in the United States.
Yeah, I can
That's
believe
what.
that.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what this is about.
But they were on their way to the Johannesburg airport. She mentioned that people were throwing rocks off of bridges and bricks off of bridges at the cars of white people driving to the airport to leave the country.
Well, it goes into the whole Rwanda too thing, you know, where they're hacking each other pieces with machetes.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah, it's a crazy movie, but it all breaks down so quickly.
Yeah.
And everyone, you ask anyone who's ever been in a country that had a civil war, the first thing they'll say is, "I never saw it coming." Makes you wonder.
Well, I mean, I see one coming in our country, so am I
Yeah.
going to be the first person ever?
Yeah.
Am I
Might
be like,
be.
I saw it coming?
And while we're on the subject of,
Laugh at you like that.
while we're talking about South Africa, what are your guys' takes on Nelson Mandela?
I'll let you guys. Go
Is there a
first.
non-mainstream take? Are you about to hit me with something I don't know?
So
Yeah, there is. I
There's a-
think.
there's this guy named Curtis Yarvin. He's been around. Like he's like he's mainly known for this blog called Unqualified Reservations, and he made an article on terrorism as like a broad concept, and he makes a case that right-wing terrorism never works. However, left-wing terrorism does work, and he makes a compelling case by using Nelson Mandela as an example, because like he supported just fire, like lighting people on fire, all stuff like that.
I have read about this. I do know what you're talking. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did some pretty nasty stuff that we didn't learn about.
A lot of people say that he was just arrested because he was too much of a he was too much of a freedom from
Let me pause that real quick.
But that's not the case. Like he there were things that legitimate things that he deserved to be jailed for.
His wife too did quite a lot, as my understanding. Although I can't.
Well, and it's like nobody's gonna disagree that segregation in South Africa was not wrong. Like, I just fundamentally think that, I mean, in the United States until the Obama era, we had done a pretty good job of reconciling a long history of just not great race relations. But in South Africa, it went the opposite direction, and it was just inflamed from the beginning. And I think just their way of solving their problems wasn't nearly as on par per se with the way that the United States went about a meritocracy.
Do you guys know where the word Rhodesia comes from?
Rhodesia.
The guy who wanted to build the railroad from Cairo to like somewhere in South Africa.
I just know the movie Blood Diamond.
This is a guy very much worth reading about. Probably more important than the Queen herself when he worked under
Wait,
her.
you see the guy from the picture? Like
So
the
when
one
you say
standing up?
Rhodesia,
It's named after the.
it's
guy
named
who
after
wrote-
Cecil Rhodes.
Wait, go back. Is that him in that picture right there? You just had?
This one?
Nah, go back. Sorry.
Yeah, hold on.
Because I've seen this picture in like every history class. That one in the bottom right.
This one?
Is that him?
Yeah, that's him. Like, hence his one foot's in Egypt and his
Ah.
other's
Yes, that
at the
makes
Cape.
sense.
He was under. Let me just get the right queen there, and then you guys can take it from there if you're so inclined. He was under what?
Wasn't this about the same time where like the British and the French started assuming control
Victoria.
of the Suez Canal?
There you go. He was the right-hand man, basically,
That makes sense. Yeah.
of Queen Victoria.
He was the Shadow King.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. He had a lot of dirty fingers and a lot of dirty pies, as they say.
And he was a liberal.
He was probably
Political party. Liberal.
probably a sociopath and a psychopath, honestly.
I mean, to be fair though, the concept of like infrastructure across the African continent is just it is a great concept. There's so many natural resources. Like, there's so much potential for that continent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, think about how much power. I was just thinking, like, most new colonies are usually named after the monarch, right? Like Jamestown, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rhodesia. This dude got a country named after him when he was he was working for the queen. That's how powerful he was.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting read. Highly recommend it. We are about, believe it or not, at 6 o'clock. It is 5:46. It is going to take me a few minutes to set up a separate stream, which is what we're going to do. We're going to shed any kind of weird frame dropping issues here we have going on and just start a new stream. The Biden thing itself is at 6:30. So as of right now, we still have like 45 minutes.
Let's order some pizza.
You want to?
Yeah.
I'm kind of down. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring our second cider house here to an end. I know we did Friday last time, Thursday this time. I'd love to try to find the same day.
I'm down for Friday to be the only reason I couldn't make tomorrow is because the Trump rally I got roped into.
Yeah.
helping with it.
We don't have to figure this out right now either, by the way. I know we'll talk and stuff.
Yeah.
But
take this opportunity to order some pizza for yourselves.
But one last plug.
we need a pizza sponsor.
We have a chance to flip the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, and it would be great if all of John's listeners could go on to electteresaholland.com.
Let's bring it up. I think it's just electholland.com, right?
Elect Holland, yeah, electholland.com, and try to help us flip Center County. John's a resident here in Center County too. We really need help flipping the Pennsylvania.
I really
House of
actually like
Representatives.
Therese a lot
Nah,
too.
she's
Like
the best.
no
Therese
joke.
is incredibly based. Like she is a competitive sharpshooter. She kayaks with her husband. They are like the friendliest people to
She
us
says,
college
"How would you like
students."
me to kill you?"
Yeah. She is based and her opponent is cringe. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about
But even
her
if
opponent too here in the future. But
it would be great if anybody who has $5, $10, $20 could please help with that campaign. Her opponent has already raised nearly $1 million to keep her out of Harrisburg. You're talking about
Especially-
Not just raised $1 million, but has gotten money from George Soros to fund. For
oh, really?
California.
Well, all right. We're gonna put up a coordinated front against that, I think. But
and Mr. David, I can't say your last name right off I can't read it. But Bucks County, you guys are doing great. I think you're like 200 from flipping. Send some support our way.
yeah,
It'd be
if you're from
appreciated.
like a heavily red area where your money or whatever is not necessarily gonna do a whole lot,
Yeah,
you know,
if
and
you're
you got.
from a deep red or deep blue area, you're not gonna.
We're talking like
change
$10,
much.
$5,
Yeah.
$1, whatever.
It would be great. We're trying to make a difference.
electholland.com. Oop, didn't mean to click on that. And Teresa's been on the show. There's a previous episode you can watch with her, but no joke. Like I've been pretty straightforward. I'm not great at like lying, even for people that I should lie for. I really like Teresa, like a lot. So yes, if you can help, let's electholland.com.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
We're gonna bring this cider house episode. Thank you all three of you guys for coming today.
Thanks
by
for
the way,
having us, as
I
always.
finally have a reason to buy another nicer camera. But all four of us will be back here in roughly 30 minutes, maybe less, and we are gonna watch the big boy. What the fuck is it called? The big boy. What's this? What did they call it?
Well, I just thought it was a
No,
press conference.
Oh, you don't even. Hold on. Didn't they call it the big boy press conference or something? It's got some cartoonish name. I swear. Hold on.
Probably to make him feel good about himself.
It's like literally.
Like, I feel bad for this guy at this point. Like, I'm just like, bro, this man is not real.
You might be right. Biden's
Big boy press conference.
Yeah, where did that?
This is what the adults being in charge looks like.
They labeled it this. It's his big boy press conference. Yeah, it's all fake. It's all so tiresome. We're gonna stop there. We're gonna collect ourselves.
Yeah.
We're gonna start on this channel, but as a separate stream. And it's 5:50, so we'll say like 10, 20 minutes, something like that. We're gonna do the big boy stream.
Isn't that the bomb they dropped on Hiroshima and
Yeah.
Nagasaki?
Yeah.
Or no, it was Fat Man and Little Boy.
Fat Man.
Maybe they're trying to mentally prepare their Democrat fans for getting nuked.
They're nuking
Maybe he's done. Maybe he'll quit. Maybe we'll witness it.
Maybe this will be a nuke for his own campaign.
This might be
We'll
a little
see.
too historical for my liking. All right. I will post that link shortly when I get the live stream set up. But give me about 30 minutes, and then all three of us will be back. Thank you, Jack Kentner, for joining us. I should have. There you go. At Jack_Kentner on X, formerly Twitter.
That's my apologies.
I was like, what the hell is that? Danny Kunselman, newly elected vice chairman of Jefferson County GOP. And also Jack. And there you go. Mihaly Sogor,
Just a guy.
a.k.a. Mihaly the Impaler. I don't know. We need to get you guys each a hat, but we haven't really come up with great nicknames yet. But we'll get those soon. We'll be back in 30 minutes on a separate stream, a 3cc stream for the Big Boy press conference. That is it for today. I'm John Warden. Until next time, remember, you are a world champion. Don't let your memes be dreams.
First time.